AI is doing something pretty incredible right now, but it's not what you see in the headlines. It's quietly rewriting the entire rulebook for corporate social responsibility, turning it from a PR tactic into an absolute necessity. Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's break this down. For the longest time, corporate social responsibility, CSR, was basically about PR. Glossy reports, feel-good initiatives, basically managing a company's reputation. But AI, it's forcing a massive shift. We're moving away from CSR as a public relations tool and towards CSR as the core governance of the company. It's no longer about looking good, it's about building good into the company's actual operating system.
Think about it. The CSR department was often totally siloed off. This little island disconnected from the real day-to-day business. Their job was to polish the company's image, not to actually influence its core decisions. That's all changing, and fast.
Yeah, that whole era is officially over. See, AI isn't some niche tool. It's becoming the central nervous system for more and more organizations. And when algorithms are at your core, ethics can't be an afterthought you sprinkle on top. It has to be baked right into the code itself.
And that brings us to the new reality we're all facing. The second that algorithms start making decisions that affect real people's lives, well, the game completely changes. We're not talking about abstract corporate values anymore. We're talking about the nuts and bolts of building systems that are fair and just by design.
All of a sudden, an algorithm could be the gatekeeper, deciding whether or not you get a loan for your first home, or if you even qualify for basic public services. These are massive, life-altering decisions, and they're being handed over to machines.
Or imagine this. In a hospital, an AI flags one patient for urgent care over another. But what happens if the data it learned from is full of historical biases? The consequences there aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. They could literally be life and death.
And it hits even closer to home. Inside your own company, an algorithm might be evaluating your performance and deciding if you get that promotion you've been working so hard for. Is it really looking at the right things? Or is it just seeing the ghosts of old biases in the data?
And this is why this quote is so crucial. A biased algorithm isn't just a simple technical glitch you can patch. It's a deep ethical problem that can take existing inequalities and amplify them on a massive, systemic scale. The code itself becomes a question of fairness.
So what does this all mean? It means ethics can't just be a side conversation anymore. It can't be a chapter in the annual report. It has to become the actual operating system for the entire organization, the foundation that everything else is built on top of.
This brings us to a really important idea: structural ethics. Think of it as the framework that holds an automated company together. It's about weaving fairness, accountability, and trust right into the fabric of the system from the start, not trying to add it on later as a fix. Because without that ethical framework, well, things can spiral out of control, and fast. Accountability just disappears. Who's to blame? The developer? The data? Hidden biases creep in. And once public trust is gone, it is incredibly difficult to earn back.
The bottom line is really this simple. In the age of AI, you cannot bolt ethics on at the end. It has to be the blueprint from the very, very beginning.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually build this ethical operating system? Well, it's not just a philosophical exercise. There are concrete, practical steps any organization can take.
It really boils down to two key ingredients. First, you need a clear service architecture. This makes sure your AI isn't just running wild with no rules or oversight. And second, you need what's called AI workplace democracy, which is a fancy way of saying you have to involve your people in the design process. Now, when we say workplace democracy, don't get the wrong idea. This isn't about voting on every little thing. It's actually a super smart way to manage risk. It's about tapping into the expertise of your team, the people on the ground, to build better, safer AI and to find the blind spots you would have otherwise missed.
And what's so cool is that this creates this amazing positive feedback loop. When people trust the system, they're more willing to participate. That participation helps you build a better, smarter structure. That structure then delivers real positive impact, which in turn builds even more trust. It's a virtuous cycle that just keeps getting stronger.
So let's bring this all back. What does this all mean for the future of corporate social responsibility? It means its entire job description is getting a massive rewrite.
CSR is no longer about looking in the rearview mirror and just reporting on things that have already happened.
It's about grabbing the steering wheel. It's about actively designing the organization's ethical systems and building its moral architecture for the future.
This quote just nails the whole thing, doesn't it? AI gives you speed, but ethics is what makes you safe. A solid architecture lets you scale. And involving your people is what makes the whole thing legitimate. You need all four.
And that's the new mission for CSR. It's the critical function that sits right at the intersection of these four forces, making sure the company can move fast and innovate without, losing its soul in the process.
So that leaves us with one last question for you to take back to your own organization. Is your CSR just a protective shield you hide behind, or is it the actual operating system that guides you forward? The future of your business might just depend on how you answer that.